Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. Gaichu has finally taken vengeance on the Red Samurai, and now we're going to be making our rounds through Hawaii to see if there's any new vendor missions or anything else we can get into. We know we have some new people to talk to. But let's start with 10-armed Ambrose here. Ambrose lies limp in his wheelchair while his spider drone tinkers delicately on a huge bionic lower leg, which appears to be attached to a dismembered troll thigh. Ambrose reanimates as you draw near. Shan, I'm doing some delicate work here. Just reaching a good point to pause, actually. Okay, what's up? What are you doing? Is that someone's leg? It will be. It's a vat-grown biological upper on a cybernetic lower. I'm merging the two together. It's going to give this poor guy the upper leg he wants back with the lower leg he needs. His voice is hushed. You're interested, huh? Okay, check this out. I'll be back. Ambrose goes limp. A half-dozen robotic arms suddenly pulse in a balletic surge of activity, working on the leg, bristling with needles, scalpels, forceps, micro solders, glue, and various other tools. For several minutes, there's no sound but quiet clicking and the hum of machinery. When the work is complete, the slender robotic arms draw back. They hover near the ceiling around the operating area, like giant attentive stick bugs. Ugh. Ambrose's eyes flutter back open. He continues talking, hardly skipping a beat. This guy works in the tunnels with his feet in sewage all day. Got some kind of flesh-eating trench rot and went right up his leg. Nearly killed him. They had to amputate at the hip. I'm giving him his upper leg back, but using a chrome lower leg so it won't happen again. That's actually pretty cool. No, this is nothing. You see what they're doing in research now. Grown tissue so that it interweaves with mechanical matrices. Wild dreck like that. Supposedly they can now genotype a fetus in the first trimester, take a stem cell from it, and grow upgraded organs for it by the start of the third trimester, then implant them in utero and still have a natural birth. It's incredible. It's the start of superhumans. Speaking of super metahumans, I bet you're not here to talk about this leg. Indeed. We're still not going to get any cyber. I actually checked, and we cannot get rid of those arms, sadly. What happened with Karen, boss? She betrayed me. Ambrose folds his one arm tensely across his chest and scowls. She left me here. He nods toward a small framed picture over his impressive home-built computer. That's Karen. Inspect the picture. The picture is of a serious-looking Filipino woman in a black tank top. Her neck, shoulders, and arms are chiseled with lean muscle and spotted with tattoos. She looks vaguely annoyed at the camera. Semper Fidelis is visible in Gothic script, tattooed across her chest. A trans-Catholic rosary hangs on the picture, a crucifix, and a delicate Kali yantra overlying the center. In the picture, the rosary is visible around the woman's neck. Karen quit Shadowrunning too. Supposedly, she made a full recovery. She started delivering for smugglers. She was my main conduit for drugs and cyber. Ambrose shakes his head gently. She just stopped caring about anything. Maybe it was the brain injury, but I don't think so. I think everything she'd done started catching up with her. I could see it in her eyes. Well, take your time. I'm listening. Ambrose rubs his mouth with the remainder of his hand, and he pauses. She couldn't sleep. She wouldn't take meds for it. I think she didn't want to get better. One day she was here. We were behind the curtain. I went out front to talk to someone. Ambrose presses one of his remaining fingers into the side of his neck. She took her butterfly knife and set the point right here. She pushed the blade right through and out alongside her trachea, sliced through everything outside of that. Severed her own carotid artery. Holy crap. Just like she was removing a sentry. That was it. Don't. Ambrose stops. He holds his hand over his mouth for a long moment. When he continues, his voice is thick. She did it right there. On the operating table. There wasn't even a thump. That was Karen. Efficient. Ruthless. Considerate in a weird way. Could never live by her own moral commandments. Could never ask for what she needed. Ambrose crosses himself. Requiescat cum dies, Karen Santos. Om Kali, Mater Magna, Om Jesu Christi, Swami Noster, and gives you a sidelong glance. I'm not trans-Catholic. Hell, I'm not into religion at all, but I try to honor her in that way. Man. I'm sorry, I wish I had academics so I can complete the prayer. But all I can do is say I'm sorry. It's okay, Shan. She made her peace, I guess. Ambrose looks silently at Karen's picture, and eventually he turns back to you. Ripshot's dead. My old hood in Chicago is in the containment zone, and Karen, well, she was my best friend. Ever. I'm the last man standing. So here I am. I think I survived for a reason, so I can make other people's lives better. That's what I'm trying to do. Life is what we make it, right? Yeah, Ambrose. Life is what we make it. Here, you want a drink? We should have a drink. A robotic arm flings open a cabinet, clatters inside it, and swings across the room, clutching a sapphire blue bottle. This is Lambanog. It's a Filipino coconut vodka. Have a shot with me? Sure, I'll have one. I like coconut rum. The robotic arm pours 2 shots and swings one over to you. Ambrose gingerly takes the other in his ruined hand and holds it up. To fallen friends. To fallen friends. You swallow the shots together. The strong, raisin-flavored liquor burns going down. Ew, raisin, never mind. Ambrose looks around in silence, and his gaze settles on you, lonely. I used to be a real piece of work, Shan. When I got busted up, for the first time in my life, I had to rely on other people. Broke, hunted, close to death. Not so different from how you showed up, except for the death part. Someone here owed Karen a favor, and people of Hawaii took care of us. Now I think, if I did so much harm in my past life, how much healing can I do in this one? Ambrose sighs and clutches his shot glass against his chest, like a religious talisman. He looks thoughtfully at you. That's more than I've told anyone in a long time. It does the heart good, Shan. Thanks. Well, a Rockter's life is busy. Better wrap this up. You still angry at Karen? I'll always be angry at Karen. She abandoned me. He shrugs. So what? She was my friend. I can be angry at her if I want to. Fair enough. Goodbye, Ambrose. That's a sad story. And he's still working, so nothing new. Got some karma out of that, which is awesome. Examine the photos. The photos, news clippings, and mementos posted around the clinic are visibly consistent with Ambrose's story. Through the general decorations, you can trace his journey. A bunch of aging Chicago photographs. Seattle. The ocean, from what looks like a container ship. Osaka, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong. The residents of Hawaii, plastered over everything else. Let's inspect the Chicago photos. Many are photos of Chicago's landmarks and of street races. Interspersed with them are obviously personal photos of Caucasian and African American metahumans, at a bar, in front of a fountain, working on a car, and so on. A young man who must be Ambrose appears in a few of them, but no other person is repeated in the photographs. Young Ambrose doesn't appear in any of the pictures with recognizable landmarks. Well, let's look through the general decorations. Most of the big pictures are of old Chicago and classic Motorhead Americana, 20th century gas stations, desert highways, Devil's Tower, motorcycle gangs. Closer inspection reveals a section full of personal photos, recording what may have been Ambrose's trip from Chicago through the Western UCAS, the Sioux Nation, and the Salish Shide Council to Seattle. There's even a photo of the ruins of Grand Coulee Dam. Once, it was the largest power station in the old USA. Now, it's breached. The Columbia River roars through its jagged concrete throat, wild and cataclysmic. I don't have any intelligence or astral. Oh. Well. Maybe we can see something over here. Because we can inspect more than a few things. The mess of notes, mementos, photos, and paperwork on the wall behind the computer reflects the daily work of Ambrose's life, and hints at the story he's told you. A framed photo shows what must be Ambrose as a young man, back in his Chicago days, standing proudly in front of a vintage Ford Mustang. Nice. Let's look at the picture. Oh! Sure, it looks like a young Ambrose. It's hard to tell for sure with all his scarring and cosmetic reconstruction now. The young man definitely has Ambrose's big, cheesy grin. He can't be more than 25 years old, but he already has a thick handlebar mustache. We have no biotech, no drone control, no things. Crap. We lack all the necessary tools to probably get further into this story. That is unpleasant. Alright, well, I guess we can go and try Club 88 now. Well, let's talk to this guy. I spent the karma, by the way. I got a one more tick in body, so we have a body of 7. So now we'll start leveling everything up to 6. Humans transient. The gibbering transient wheels to face you, his eyes bulging out of his skull. He's a young man, probably in his late 30s, but his hair has gone bone white. He reaches towards you with hands hooked into claws, and his entire body begins to tremble. You've seen them. I know it. I can smell it on you. He reaches his hands to his face and claws at his cheeks, his fingernails digging into his flesh. The devils. The ones that are coming. And the runt that leads the pack. Another transient glances over at you. He got into town yesterday. Came in on the same boat that we did. Seemed normal enough at the time, but now he's stark raving mad. I am not mad! His voice rises into a scream. I've seen them! They're coming! They're on their way here, now! Ooh. So, tell me what you've seen. His breath comes in fits and gasps. He claws his throat, and his voice lowers to a whisper. There are hundreds. All different, but all the same. A giant with the legs of a boar and the jaws of a baboon. A woman in jade and gold with 100 blind eyes. A run at the head of the pack, slim and beautiful, with arms like jaws and an ivory crown. Tears spill down his cheeks as he sobs. They run into gashes that he tore into his cheeks. They're all coming, all clawing at the gate. She is already slipping through. He seizes up in mid-sentence. His eyes roll back into his head and he falls to the pavement. When he hits the ground, he doesn't get up. He isn't breathing. I think he's dead. Check the man's pulse. You kneel and press your finger to the fallen man's neck. Nothing. The transient stares down at the fallen man's body, his brow furrowed. To hell with this place. I'm getting out of here. I know that's none of my business, but you should do the same. I'd love to, but I can't. She shrugs. Your call. Best of luck. Well, that was inviting. I think a trip to the club is in order after that. Hey, Frederick. Freddy looks sullen at the club's front entrance, and sullen on the young troll takes the form of careless indifference for the force he uses to pat down and propel forward the patrons entering the place. Welcome to Club 88. No killing, no fighting, no sex trade. Careful, Freddy. You'll give someone a concussion. Or a broken rib, or a dislocated shoulder. Frack it. What does it matter? Things might be better if I can drove everyone off and shut down this place. Can't be forced to stay a bouncer if there are no bums to bounce, right? And it might just force the rest of them to take a hard look in the mirror. My mock could stop worrying about bills and inventories and all that crap. Callum could finally get out of here and save his own skin. And my bot could go back to doing what he was born to do and change his mind about me doing it too. Ah. Alright, what's the deal with Callum? What? You haven't figured it out? You talk with him, right? He doesn't belong here any more than I do. For different reasons. Callum's not hard enough to survive in a place like this. If this city doesn't kill him one night, him drinking away his worries probably will before long. Funny thing is, I thought that once I got out and made my fortune, I could set Callum up someplace nice. But that's not going to happen now, thanks to my ba. He'd rather see us both waste away here. So your father found out about your plans? Yeah, he heard me talking to someone about how I might link up with the Hell Thunder crew. He got real mad, dragged me aside like he was trying to pull my damn arm off. Thought we might come to blows. It'd be the first time since I was a kid, and I could probably kill him now if I'm not careful. But he just wanted to yell at me. So much the better for his health. He told me I was living in a fantasy land. Told me I wasn't cut out for the life I was looking to lead. He said it would get me killed. Pah. Worst part? He asked me why I can't be more like my brother. Just goes to show how little he knows about us. Callum isn't even cut out for the cozy life we have here in the club. Well, I'll leave Frederick be. Interesting. Let's see what's going on in here. Eos. We talk to a new Shadowrunner. Hey, Callum. How you doing, champ? Callum has calmed greatly since last time. He's once again oscillated into his more somber, brooding mode. He looks almost professional as he conducts a little business with some rail-thin gangers aching for their fix. Back again, I see. What is it about this place? The music? The sweaty bodies? Or is it my messed up family that keeps bringing you back? I like to keep tabs on people. Not sure the people around here are worth keeping tabs on. Well, if you can keep it on the down low, I got news I'm dying to share with somebody. You runner types are good with secrets, right? Sure. Let's hear it. So I snuck off behind my mother's back. Can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. No grown man should ever have to say that. But that's what I had to do. And so that's what I did. Finally met this guy who wants to be my benefactor. His name is Matthew Tai. He's a human guy. He rolled up on the dock in a speedboat with guards and everything. Real slick dude, like classy. Powerful classy. He asked me to call him Matt. Isn't that great? I hopped in and off we went. We had dinner together. It was a little strange, but I'm still glad I went. The things he told me. What kind of things? Well, for one, he said he remembers my mother. Apparently he knew her well. In fact, he said he knew her better than anyone back in Baihu. I guess that's partly how he came to know of me, I guess. But the way he talked about my mother, it was like, I don't know, there's something between them. He had this wistful look on his face and a smirk when he said her name. Probably the same kind of look on my face right now, like he was keeping a wonderful secret. I don't remember my father ever looking that way with my mother. Got me wondering about a lot of things. How's the dinner weird? It got weird at the end. Like there was more he wanted to say, but he couldn't. Maybe he didn't want to get my hopes up too high, in case the whole arrangement didn't pan out. Not sure. The strangest part by far, though, is when his security detail bust our table and bagged everything we had touched. Glasses, plates, utensils, napkins. Mr. Tai, I mean Matt, said it was a standard precaution for men in his position. Even the smallest genetic sample could be used to subvert biometric security systems, or it could be used in ritual magic. Never really thought about it before, but these are just the kinds of things I think I can learn from this guy. Yeah, that's not going to end horribly. Mr. Henry, your boys have been busy. Henry Ka Fai paces a rut in the worn floor of Club 88. He wrings his hands, looking every bit like one trying desperately to hold on to something but failing with every attempt. He is oblivious to everything around him. Henry, you still with us? Huh? What? Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. I was just thinking. What about? Lots of things. The past, the here and now, what is and what might have been. Think about how many sailors drown every year, and how I never once came close. Think about how it might have been for Ermine if I had. Lots of things have been preying on my mind lately. Last time you mentioned an incident. Care to speak about it? Truth is, I've wanted to talk about it. Needed to talk about it for a long time. I was a first mate by then, on a big rescue and salvage tug. We were steaming out into the Pacific, down towards Saipan. A big container ship had lost power and was drifting. We were 2 days out from Hong Kong. We picked up a distress call. Our captain told us to ignore it, quoted some whoozing corporate gibberish, and ordered our rigger to change course to avoid it. Truth is, we all knew why. That container ship was probably losing Wuxing 1,000,000 new yen in lost revenues for every hour it drifted. I don't know why I did it, but I refused. Maybe it was on account of being a family man, maybe I was just in a mood, but I couldn't leave those people behind. I demanded that the captain send us to assist, and when he didn't, I knocked him out. Well, everyone followed me. When we reached the signal, we found a small passenger ship well away from its regular route. No response to hails, so I went aboard with a small group. What we found was a horror show. Men, women, and children, brutally butchered, but not outright killed. Some had died from their injuries, yes, but most were just missing an arm, a leg, or a foot. They wouldn't have lasted much longer, but they could have been saved. And that's when we realized it was a trap. The time it would have taken us to stabilize and move those people would have given the ones responsible the chance they needed to take our boat. They'd meant to lure in a bigger ship. I grabbed my guys and we got out of there at full steam. I left those people to die. They knew it as we were going. Their eyes have haunted me ever since. So that was the end of my career. Wuxing let me go nice and quiet with a hush package. The law of the sea still applies. You've got to help ships in distress when you can. Wuxing didn't want anyone to know the captain of their rescue tugboat had tried to violate that. Ermine thinks I retired for the boys and her. She wouldn't be able to look at me if she knew the truth. Interesting. So how are things between you and Ermine? Not great, to be honest. It's true that my voice in the dreams has been, or it's true what the voice in my dreams has been saying. Ermine doesn't need me. I'm useless around here. Barely I just stay out of her way, but it's more than that. We've had our share of problems over the years. My being absent for long stretches, her being left alone, fending for herself while I was away. It wasn't easy for her, and I think she sometimes sought comfort elsewhere. I don't know who, and I don't know exactly when, but I can't help thinking about it. I look at Callum sometimes. I'll always love him, but I'll also always wonder. Oh. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. It'd hardly be the worst thing that ever happened to me, but even so. Well, I'll leave you be. That might have been the reason that Matt gathered all the gear, DNA testing. Let's talk to Eos before we talk to Ermine. Oh, hello there, Felicia Day. A red-headed elf is hunched over her table, her eyes firmly locked on a disassembled micro-drone that's spread out across it. A name tag on her jumpsuit's collar says Eos in bold letters. After a few moments, she sighs heavily and mutters under her breath, "Oh, come on, don't tell me I lost the EMS transducer." Eos frantically begins searching the area around the table. Methodically sifting through cigarette butts, stale gum, and orange peels, she squeals the excitement as she finds a small circuit. Gotcha! Whew, that's a relief and a half. She places it gingerly in one of her pockets. As she turns her attention back towards the table, she spares you a quick glance. Watch your step. I don't think anything else fell off the table, but I won't know for sure until I get this back together. Are you sure a bar is the best place to do drone repair? No, but the guy who lives next door to me is doing some kind of heavy-duty electrical work, and it's filling my apartment with static electricity. Didn't want to risk frying this little guy's guts. She leans over, peering closely at some particular part. Ah, crap. Now, this is going to take more work than I thought. Oh well. Another time. Sweeping the drone pieces into a pile with her hands, she scoops them into one of her jumpsuit's many pockets, and she turns to face you, giving you her full attention. You're Kindly's hired help, aren't you? Name's Eos. Nice to meet you. I'm Shan. Oh, nice to meet you. Glad to get your name. It's a lot nicer than that foreigner, which seems to be what most of the locals call you. She pulls out a business card made of stamped sheet metal and puts it on the table. We're in the same line of work, you know. You ever need a rigger, look me up. Very affordable rates, and I guarantee results. Why'd you become a rigger? I've always loved cars. Old ones, new ones, even the beaters that are falling apart and you have to hold together with baling wire and chewing gum. I like drones too, but my first love was a 2034 Alfa Romeo Farinata. Drove that thing until the wheels fell off. Eos grins crookedly, propping her chin up on one fist. Did some work with the Atlanta film industry at first, as a stunt driver. That paid for my first vehicle control rig. It also got me into drone rigging, since smaller projects usually need camera riggers for aerial shots. Fun times, but the pay in the CAS isn't like it is in Hollywood. It's all small-scale stuff. Film work's a long way from being a Shadowrunner. Sure is. But when your mom gets sick and you can't afford to pay her medical bills, you start looking for alternatives. You turn to the shadows, you find out there's all kinds of people who want getaway drivers, especially if the drivers also have drones fitted with high-caliber weapons. I started to make a name for myself. Took some jobs for the Comanche Mafia, smuggling things in and out of the Pueblo Corporate Council. Io spreads her hands helplessly, grinning. And here I am. Once I got a taste for the adrenaline, I never looked back. Too much of a rush out here on the edge. How'd you get your street name? Honestly, it's my sunny disposition. I'm not even kidding. The elf giggles to herself for a moment, head falling back as she stares toward the ceiling. I had this friend in Vegas, a real rich, old money type from Dubrovnik. I guess that's how you pronounce that. He'd fallen on hard times, mostly because he couldn't play cards for Drek. Great fixer, though, because everybody loved him. He's the one who gave it to me. Eos, he said to me, your new street name should be Eos, because whenever you show up, it's like breaking dawn in my office. Could have charmed bees out of their hives, I swear to God. Last I heard, he finally got enough money to pay his debts and get the hell back to Europe. Sure hope he did. I like to imagine him sitting on the Adriatic, sipping a, Negroni, and reading a spy novel. You have a preferred kind of job? Eos gets a smile that spreads from ear to ear, and she leans over to whisper in a conspiratorial tone. Heists. Anytime we can get under a ticking clock, racing against time, and get away in a cloud of burning rubber, that's where it's at for me. One of the best jobs I've had was run on a branch of Frankenfurter, Bankverine, and Nice. The cops were hot on our ass as soon as we got out of the vault because the Decker had been dumped from the alarm system before he could squash the alarm. So we rush outside, right? Our getaway car is a Skoda RK3 that I modded up with a supercharger and a kinetic energy recovery system. Didn't look like much, but man, that car could haul. We burned through those French streets like we were right out of an old Frankenheimer movie. Glorious getaway. Any run you can walk away from is a good one. You said it, and the aftermath, glorious. 2 weeks lounging on the beaches of Corfu, eating fresh perch that you caught right on the docks. Revian always wanted to poach it, but come on, you gotta grill that fish that fresh. Later, Eos. Tapping a finger to her brow, Eos grins. See ya. Don't be afraid to call. Indeed. I guess Eos Day, like Felicia Day. Yeah, good name. Okay, Ermine. Let's see what's going on in your life. The dread keep creeping through Hawaii has pervaded into the induced euphoria of Club 88. Ermine herself is not immune, looking to be caught between the need for rest and the inability to find the peace necessary for it. It's not a good time, Shan. I can see that. What's going on? I wish I knew. I can only speak for myself, though. I don't know about the rest of them, but I'm dead on my feet. Slept a solid 6 hours, but was hardly restful sleep. Bad dreams? Like none I've ever had before. Vivid. More real than you standing here, and the memory refuses to leave me. I was 20 years younger. Young, absolutely at home in my own skin, and happy. Happier than I remember ever being. Positively glowing. There was a man with me. It was Henry, but not the Henry I knew. This was Henry as he might have been if he had never goblinized. Handsome, well-dressed, perfectly human. But when he smiled, there were too many teeth, and I knew it was a lie. When I woke up clutching my stomach, feeling for bite marks that weren't there, I haven't been able to shake that image of that smile all day. Those teeth. They wanted to devour me and everything I hold dear. You still worrying about Callum in that suit? I tried to put that period of my life behind me. I tried to forget what had happened, to move past it. I had to, or else it would have destroyed our family just as it was beginning. Some truths are best left buried. I can live with the shame. It was my own stupid mistake, but it should have ended there. The past should have stayed in the past. But this man will not be denied. He'll lure Callum with promises of fortune, power, prestige. He will offer him things I never could, just as he once did with me. Callum feels alone here, just as I did when Henry was away at sea. So mad is Callum's dad. I'll kill this man before I let him take my boy from me. I don't care who he is or what right he might claim. I suppose this is why I'm not sleeping well. The dreams. Indeed. So I bet Matt's going to show up here anytime, because he basically has business with all the Ka Fais. Well, I'll tell you what. I think Shan here is going to buy Felicia Day a drink, and we will call it an episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, go ahead and click like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. That'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.